Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a casual look at Gauntlet Legends for the Sega Dreamcast. Now, I've got a special guest here again, my brother Brandon. Say hello, Brandon.
How's it going, guys?
It's been a while since you've been here, man, and whoa, the game did not boot up. What just happened? But yeah, it's been a while since you've been here, man. The last one you recorded with me, I think, was, Mystic Quest? Final Fantasy Mystic Quest on Super Nintendo?
We did,
Or was it 1943 and 1942?
We did both, and we did Mystic Quest.
That's right.
We also did, I think Gardening Heroes also, right? Oh, no, see, that was just
No, that was just us playing, and I ended up recording a long play at the same time, just coincidentally, so... But yeah, guys, Brandon's back with us. This is, again, Gauntlet Legends for the Sega Dreamcast, and let me go ahead and toss you your controller, Brandon.
Alright.
And this is a port of the arcade game of the same name. Now, what's kind of cool about this is that it's fairly faithful to the original arcade Gauntlet Legends. And a lot of you guys out there that have played one of the modern revisions of Gauntlet have probably played the Dark Legacy ports to Xbox, to PS2, to GameCube. Now, there was an arcade Dark Legacy, which I never really gave too much time, unfortunately, so I can't tell you exactly what the arcade game is like, but I did play the original arcade Gauntlet Legends quite a bit, and I can say that the Dreamcast version is quite similar to the original arcade Gauntlet Legends, which I think is a good thing, because the Dark Legacy ports to the home consoles were probably based on the Dark Legacy arcade game. Those versions had way more stages and way more items to collect and way more like little mini quests, so to say, with all the items you have to collect. And I kind of like that Gauntlet Legends is a little more stripped down, a little more basic. It's not as long. It's still long, but it's not as long. And it just seems closer to the original Gauntlet Legends arcade game, which I thoroughly enjoyed in the arcades. I put a lot of money into that game over the years. So what about you, Brandon? Did you play any of the arcade Gauntlet Legends or Dark Legacies, or did you just experience the home console versions?
I remember it was many years ago at Bowl America. There's a bowling alley, and they used to have Gauntlet Legends in the bowling alley.
Nice,
and
nice.
I was probably in 4th or 5th grade at the time. As you can see, is a while ago. And that's when I started getting into Gauntlet. Never actually gave it a real chance until about freshman year of high school. A friend of mine was over. We played Dark Legacy for PlayStation 2. And we were playing that up until about 5 o'clock in the morning one night. And that's when I got really addicted to it.
Nice.
And we ended up beating the game in probably two days.
Sweet.
And playing it for like 12 hours straight each day.
What system was that on?
We're on PS2.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, before then, I really wasn't into a Gauntlet until enjoying the two-player mode is a lot better than playing it for your first time. If you want to have a good time playing it, I would definitely have a friend. Play with your friend who's familiar with the game. And what's great is that it's got all the RPG elements in it too. You can level up, build your armor, speed, and it's action-packed at the same time, so you can kill a bunch of stuff and have fun.
Now, like the original Gauntlet was an arcade game from the early 80s, and it didn't have anything like leveling up or anything like that. It was, it was pretty basic for the time, but it was pretty impressive for the time and pretty advanced for the time. But at the same time, looking back at it today, it's really basic. And some of the people that enjoy the original Gauntlet arcade game didn't really care for this one too much. I don't know if it was just the 3D look or if it was, say, the light RPG elements, because hold on, where did we end off last time? Was it the blue area? Oh no, we beat, that's right, we beat the Chimera, and then we're at the Egyptian themed stages now. So, but yeah, I don't know if a lot of these those older guys that played the original Gauntlet really cared for this one too much, but personally I like this game a lot, and I like that it's still really simplistic, like the original Gauntlet game, but I kind of like those like light RPG elements. I mean, they're like really stupid simple RPG elements. I mean, it's like you get experience points and you level up, and that's basically it. If you get money, you can occasionally build up a stat. Oh dude, I'm dead already. I forgot when we left off on that boss. Remember, I had died at the boss, so it started me off with like no
shit.
life. Now, you can go ahead and play. We'll just keep talking. But I actually like how simplistic this game is, and now I'm actually kind of getting ahead of myself. Normally, I try to explain the game before I start, talking about it in forms like that. But guys, Gauntlet Legends is basically. It's a really simplistic game. You basically go from level to level. You try to get to the end of each stage. Just like the original Gauntlet, you basically had to get to the end of a level, find the exit, essentially. But along the way, you hit buttons to lower gates, find puzzles, things like that. You can gather various kinds of items like money and health and special power-ups like three-way shots and fire breath and things like that. And there's also secret items you can get as well, like the rune stones and the obelisks, which are actually required in order to usually get to the boss of the world that you're on. But basically, you go from point A to point B, kill a lot of crap along the way, you level up, every enemy you kill gives you experience points. They're invisible experience points, you don't actually see how many experience points you have, but they are there. And there's actually some sort of technicality behind them running. Oh, he sucked a lot of life away, so he went away. But that's basically Gauntlet Legends in a nutshell. I don't think it's going to be a game that's for everybody because it is really simplistic. I mean, just look at this part where there are spawners, just like the original Gauntlet, and enemies just kind of endlessly come out. And that kind of gameplay gets repetitive for some people, but this game for me was just kind of strangely addicting or addictive. And it was just fun for me, and fun for you too, Brennan, right?
It was a lot of fun, many times.
And you put a lot of time into Dark Legacy, I know that. You've told me many stories about clocking in lots of hours into that game.
Yeah, a friend of mine, I was on vacation one year, and a friend of mine went up to the beach or whatever, and I brought my PS2, and we found some local EBX or whatever, and bought Gauntlet Dark Legacy, and within that week, must have beat the game with we unlocked all the hidden characters.
Nice.
Beat all the bonus stages. Beat the game with about 3 or 4 characters. So that one week, and it was fun. It was a fun time. I first beat Gauntlet on the N64.
Okay, yeah, I used to have that version too. I played that one a lot as well. That's actually a pretty good version, considering the limitations of the hardware compared to, say, the Dreamcast. Which that actually kind of leads me into like the graphics and stuff. The Dreamcast does a really good job at pulling off the original arcade visuals.
The GameCube one was good too.
Oh yeah, the GameCube one looks fantastic. That's actually probably the best looking version. What's kind of funny is the original Xbox version of Dark Legacy, I got that the day it came out. And, not quite the day it came out, but I got it almost right away. And it actually had, if I remember correctly, some slowdown and some weird frame rate issues, which you would think it would have been the other way around, like the PS2 version would have had those issues. But the Xbox version was actually the worst of the Dark Legacy ports. And I think the GameCube was one of the better ones. But the Dreamcast does a really good job on pulling off the original Gauntlet Legends graphical style. It's not too different from the original arcade game, which is awesome. Whereas if you play the PlayStation version or the Nintendo 64 version, we just died. Yeah. Let's go to the first level, because look at my health. I'm only at 23 health or 28. It's hard to read the text in this game, so let's go build our health back up, because I need it desperately. But yeah, if you've played the original Gauntlet Legends arcade game, the Dreamcast version, it looks the truest to it. It looks great. I'd go so as far to say it almost looks identical to it. It even has the full motion video and stuff like that, which is cool. And the only downfall is that the Dreamcast version, it does lose frames. It'll start to frame skip once things get really crazy on screen. But for the most part, the game runs really well, and it's just a lot of fun to play. So it's a great. Damn it, man! I died again. Those fucking archers, man. So I'm out again. Let's just reset the game. and just start a new game because this is ridiculous. One of the great things about this game is the fact that you can do 4 players, and another cool feature that is definitely noteworthy is that you can actually have a VMU in any of the slots on any controller in the Dreamcast, and everyone can save their game to that VMU, or each person can save their game to their own specific VMU, which is really nice. And the great things about the VMUs is, like, Brandon, if you played this game at your house, you could just save your own character, level up, and then bring them back here, and we'll play together. So.
Are you the wizard?
Yeah, I am the wizard. The Egyptian wizard. Let's go back to one of the first level areas, show people what that's like.
Yeah. I'll say, because you do have 1,000 health.
No, we can go back to the first one again.
Oh, right.
But yeah, Gauntlet Legends. I know we're kind of all over the place in this video, but it's a great game in my opinion. It's definitely a must-own Dreamcast game in my opinion. I actually enjoy busting out this game once every now and then, spending a few days on it and just going from beginning to end just by myself and leveling up and things like that and trying to beat it on my own. It is definitely more challenging by yourself, that's for damn sure, and that's part of the appeal for me. Yeah. But at the same time, it's great fun with other people. I mean, this game was meant to be a multiplayer game, and it definitely comes off very well in that regard on the Sega Dreamcast. And you know, this game isn't all that expensive. It's gonna probably cost you more than one of the Dark Legacy ports on a different system, but for being more like the original Gauntlet Legends instead of Dark Legacy, I think that's actually a good thing. So there are some traits in this game that I like more over Dark Legacy. For one, there's not as much crap that you're forced to pick up in order to progress to the end of the game. Dark Legacy has those rune stones, it has the obelisks, but it also has these like little gems you have to pick up, and if you don't have enough by a certain point, you can't unlock the next level, things like that. This game has that to a degree where if you don't get all the obelisks, your next level or world, I mean, won't open up, or the boss won't open up or something like that. But fortunately, they're really easy to find in this, whereas in Dark Legacy, some of those little crystals and gems you have to find are a little bit hidden, and it can be kind of a pain if you don't gather them all, and you got to really search them out sometimes, and it gets kind of annoying. So Gauntlet Legends is a little more simplistic in my opinion, and you know, to some degree, I think it's for the better. So even though Dark Legacy will be cheaper on some of those consoles, I definitely know the PS2 one is cheaper. I'm not sure about how the Xbox or GameCube ones go for these days, but you know, the Dreamcast version is still well worth it. You know, it might cost you $20. Whereas the PS2 Dark Legacy might cost you 10 or 15, but it's still, for those differences and it being a little more faithful to the original Gauntlet Legends arcade game, I think it's definitely worth the money. What are your thoughts, Brandon? We actually, I don't know if you had ever played this specific version before, but a couple weeks back you came over and decided to have sort of a multiplayer session on the Dreamcast, and we busted this game out. And how do you like it compared to, say, Dark Legacy on the PS2, or as an overall game? Like, how do you like this game, or how do you rate it?
I mean, I would rate this plus Dark Legacy a 10 out of 10, both games or whatever. But if I was to choose Gauntlet Legends over Dark Legacy, I'd probably have to go with Dark Legacy, simply because it's a longer game. There's a lot more you can do in it, and I don't know. Then again, it's a biased opinion.
No, that makes perfect sense, man. I think it all depends on like where you're coming from, not so much what your tastes are, because they're both really similar games. They're basically the same game. This one even has a couple stages from Dark Legacy, so a lot of stages do overlap. But you're right, Dark Legacy does have a lot more of them, and that could be taken either as a good or a bad thing. I think it depends on what you're looking for. Like me, when I got Dark Legacy, I thought the game just went on for way too long. But I also have the tendency of sitting down and playing a game for like 5-hour sessions, which kind of like burns me out on a game. And like when a game goes for as long as Dark Legacy does, it's just like, is this ever going to end? But I never really felt that way with this version of Gauntlet Legends. Well, actually, Not quite. There's actually a section later on in the game you unlock the battlefields, and those were originally in Dark Legacy, and they were brought to this version. And I did not like those levels at all in this game. Let's go to the boss and get our asses kicked. I didn't like those at all in this game because each of the battlefield stages, they felt like they were 3 or 4 times as long as like one normal stage in this game, and they just felt like they were just droning on forever. And but the rest of the game is definitely shorter than Dark Legacy. There aren't as many hubs. There's a few hubs missing that were in Dark Legacy. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for more content, Dark Legacy is definitely the way to go. But if you want something that doesn't take as long to beat, this is definitely a great alternative. So yeah, your opinion is definitely not wrong in any way, Brandon. It's all about like what you're going for. So your tastes are definitely a little bit different than mine in that case. And I think, yeah.
Yeah, I've always liked having a good, solid, long game to play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you definitely, if you're off work for a few days and just want to, run through a quick game, Gauntlet Legends is definitely the one to go. But if you got time and if you don't mind investing time for a longer game, definitely go for Dark Legacy. Bring out a bottle of Jack Daniels and just play Dark Legacy. And eat Teddy Graham
Teddy Grahams,
chocolate chip cookies, whatever.
Yeah, what's funny, guys, is I actually meant to mention this like right when we started the video. Was we're actually drinking some beer right now. We just started, and what are we drinking, Brandon? Sapporo or
yeah, it is.
Yeah, let me look at it.
Sapporo.
Japan's oldest brand premium beer. Maybe I'll like show a quick screenshot of our beer bottles. As I get my ass handed to me by the dragon.
Hey, beer and video games goes hand in hand. Excellent.
Absolutely, that goes great. No doubt.
Especially if you get really into Gauntlet. Beer and Gauntlet is awesome.
There's actually a 3-way shot in here. So let me get that. Brandon, we probably should kind of wrap this video up because it's been about 17 minutes already. Normally I try to keep these around the 10-minute mark, but it's okay because you're here. And you're my brother.
And we're not dead yet.
And we're not dead yet.
At least
surprise. You're almost dead.
Oh yeah.
So, alright guys, it's Gauntlet Legends, and definitely an awesome game in my opinion. It's not going to be for everybody. I think that's the case with a lot of games out there, and most of the games I review, that's for damn sure. But it's, for me, coming as a Gauntlet Legends arcade player, I played it in the arcade a lot. I thought this was definitely the best home port of it. Of Gauntlet Legends, because again, Dark Legacy was the arcade follow-up to Gauntlet Legends, and I can't really vouch for how close the home ports of Dark Legacy are to the original arcade Dark Legacy, because to be honest, I only played the arcade Dark Legacy maybe once, maybe twice, so I didn't really give it enough time. But Gauntlet Legends in the arcade, I spent a lot of time with.
You asshole! You like leveled 4 and like 426 health, and you beat the dragon. And here I was like, getting my ass handed to me.
It's because I know the pattern, man.
There you go.
I know the pattern. He'll shoot fireballs down like one after another, and then when he gets down, his health is low, he'll start doing like one, and then he'll do 2 at once, and they split. You gotta make sure you're in the center when they split out like that. It's a pattern. You get used to it. You don't want to get close, because then he gets down and he breathes out his fire. You want to stay all the way back. And then when he goes to stomp the ground with his foot, you need to get behind the rocks, otherwise you get hurt. But the rocks will protect you from it.
You look at all the experience you get.
But that's one thing I forgot to mention is the bosses in this game. They have patterns, and it doesn't seem like that, especially with multiple players. The boss is actually a lot more difficult with multiple people because it's a lot harder to control the boss. And if you're just playing by yourself, you can basically control your movement or control how the boss acts. Because they'll do certain things depending on where you are and how you're playing. So, But yeah, that's basically it, guys. I know this video was all over the place, but Brandon and I, you know, it's good having you back, man. So thanks for doing another video with me. I'm sure some people out there will enjoy it. I know we got quite a few comments on the Mystic Quest and 1942 videos saying
And
so.
1943.
And there was like a combo video, yeah.
And how much 1943 is much better than 1942.
Yeah, it's way better than 1942. But with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And you want to throw out any last words, Brandon, before I cut this off? As we run in circles here.
Yeah. Go to your local retail store and pick up a copy of Gauntlet Legends. I think you'll have a fun time playing it.
If you still have a local
independent
retail store that sells Dreamcast games. Otherwise, you can get this on eBay pretty easily. Again, it's not as common as the Dark Legacy games, but I think it's definitely a worthwhile Dreamcast game, and probably one of my favorites on the system just because I play the arcade game a lot, and this is the closest of all the home versions to the original Gauntlet Legends arcade game. So
spin around in circles, man.
That's right. Let's see who can spin around in circles faster. Oh yeah. Look, man, you're going all over the place. I'm standing still, man. I'm like a breakdancer. But all right, guys, we'll catch you next time. Take care. Thanks for watching.